Hi, this is another edition of Stuart Doll Show, starring yours truly, Stuart Doll. I'm coming to you live from my house right here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, where the current temperature is about 19 degrees and supposed to get to 23, with maybe a chance of showers, maybe a thunderstorm, but what do you expect? It's the Labor Day long weekend, we tend to get rain on it, most of the time. Now, let's just get right into my show. The teams that are in first place in respective divisions are as follows. In the AL East, the Toronto Blue Jays. In the AL Central, the Kansas City Royals. In the AL West, the Houston Astros. And then in the NL Central, the St. Louis Cardinals. In the NL West, the Los Angeles Dodgers. In the AL East, the New York Mets. So right now as it stands, it looks like it's going to be a really tight race to see which teams get into the Major League playoffs this season. So it'll be rather interesting to see. Now, as you all know, today is the 2015 Labor Day Classic between the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and the Saskatchewan Roughriders in Regina, Saskatchewan at Mosaic Stadium. At Mosaic Stadium. Now, let's just keep in mind that the Riders have been having a really bad season so far, and the Bombers have I believe they've lost their last 5 games, I believe. So anything can happen in the Labor Day Classic. So it'll be really interesting to see how the Winnipeg Blue Bombers do offensively and defensively. And I think the key for the Saskatchewan Roughriders on special they gotta play well on special teams. They gotta play well on offense and defense. Especially on offense, they can utilize their big, powerful running back Jerome Messam of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. I think some of the keys for the Riders to potentially win today are to first establish the running game by using Jerome Messam and grinding the football up the middle, and then that'll lead into their passing game. And then whoever the starting quarterback for the Saskatchewan Roughriders today is, I'm assuming it'll probably be Brett Smith or Tino Cesare. I don't know who. I honestly don't care. But then either of them can start passing to the receivers and that, and then that's offense. So the Riders got to play well on special teams, offense, but especially on defense. I think on the Riders' defense, they have some real good talent, especially on their defensive line. They got former Winnipeg Blue Bomber Alex Hall. They also have John Chick, who is in my opinion an absolute sacking machine. I think if the Roughriders on defense can get pressure on, I'm assuming it'll probably be Brian Brom, who is the starting quarterback, I'm assuming, for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers today. All the Riders have to do on defense is get pressure either right up the middle or or off the edges. They have to get pressure on Winnipeg, and that I think in order to succeed today. Now, as I was saying, I think the Riders have a good chance at winning today if if the Riders do not take stupid, unnecessary penalties, roughing the passer, stuff like that, that stuff can be really avoidable. That, in my honest opinion. So, I think, that's what the riders have to do. They have to play well today in order to win. Is play well in special teams, offense, defense, but above all, eliminate the stupid penalties that'll kill them in the Labor Day Classic. And that now here's some news. Here's a news-related subject out of Winnipeg, right here in Winnipeg, Manitoba. This is from the CBC News Manitoba website. It is titled, Winnipeg Police Make an Arrest and Seize 12K worth of OxyContin or cocaine. Winnipeg police have arrested a man and seized about $12,000 worth of drugs after a chase that ended in the Osborne village this week. The police stopped an Audi SUV near Corden and Stafford Thursday at about 5:50 p.m. The driver sped off before abandoning the SUV. Police chased the 26-year-old man on foot and arrested him in the 800 block of Warsaw Avenue. He had 3 cell phones on him at the time, police said. Investigators retracked the suspect's steps between where he abandoned the SUV and when he was arrested. Police eventually located a man's purse that contained a loaded 9mm handgun and between 40 and 80 milligrams of OxyContin at an estimated street value of $3,600. The investigation continued. Police carried out a search warrant at a home in the 3300 block of Pembina Highway. Police seized 4.7 ounces of cocaine worth about $8,460 and roughly $35,000 in cash from the home. The 26-year-old suspect has been charged with several drug and weapons-related offenses. He remains in police custody. Yeah, and I'm honestly thinking, like, wow, what a complete idiot. Why the hell would you pull something like that? Like, like, it honestly amazes me the level of stupidity that some people were really stupid to at times. Like, it honestly, it just amazes me at times. But yeah. And then, anyways, oh, what was I gonna say? Oh, and the good thing is, I noticed, I think it was on Friday when I was out that most gas stations, the prices of gas have gone down below $1 a liter. You would think, sometimes, it's a Labor Day long weekend, people are going out of town, they would think, oh, gas prices are gonna go up, but it seems like they've gone below $1 a liter, which is kind of a good thing for drivers because, sometimes gas can cost a lot of money, and it all depends. It all depends on, where they get their, gas and that from. And that, most of the, I don't know if it's true, but most of the oil in that, I don't know where Canada gets it from, but, sometimes, when problems in the oil industry when it's not even in Canada, affects Winnipeg in general, and that, it means, a drop in gas prices. And that, but, it's a good thing that, gas prices have gone down below $1 a liter. And that, for that reason. What was I going to say? Here's an interesting story from CTV news website. I heard about this story, but I will read. Here it is about this pipeline explosion or whatever. It's affecting some people on the Canadian side of the U.S. Border. Oh, here it is. This is from CTV News Winnipeg. It's titled. This is titled "Pipeline Fire Near Border Forces Evacuations." A natural gas pipeline fire in the Kinston County, Minnesota, across the border from Emerson, Manitoba, raged for several hours Saturday evening and also into Sunday morning. In a statement, TransCanada said the fire began at the St. Vincent compression station around 9 p.m. Central, and it was extinguished at around 1:10 a.m. The towering inferno, burning several stories high, could be seen from several kilometers on both sides of the international border. According to Jet French, the Chief Volunteer Fire Department in Emerson, 2 homes in Canada located about 2 kilometers from the fire were temporarily evacuated as a precautionary measure. 22 volunteer firefighters from Emerson responded with 8 trucks to a natural gas pumping station on the Canadian side of the border. French said they were on standby in case the fire burnt back down into the pipeline into Canada. Emergency officials on both sides of the border worked with TransCanada to stop the flow of gas into the section of the pipeline. The cause of the fire is not yet known, and no injuries were reported. And this is really fortunate that that disaster was averted in this case, and that. But sometimes stuff like this happens. What do you expect? But it's very fortunate that nobody was hurt, nobody was killed in this explosion, and that which could be seen across both sides of the international border, and that anyway, and like I said, luckily nobody was hurt in that fire. Now, let's get into another news-related subject. This is from NBC News. It is titled "European Border Crisis. Order reigns as migrants and refugees reach the Macedonia-Greece border." Order and calm sometimes overweigh chaos in Europe's borders. Thousands of migrants and refugees clustered along a thin railroad line in the Greek border town of, I'm not going to pronounce it because it's really hard to pronounce, for hours with no shade on a recent afternoon. All they had made was a long, dangerous journeys, most from Syria and Iraq, to get to this point. Each belonged to a group of 50 travelers assigned a number and a captain. When they were lying in line, the policeman ahead of them called their number out. It meant moving into neighboring Macedonia. The crossing stood at a stark contrast to the chaos and anger that reigned this week in Hungary, where thousands of migrants camped outside Budapest train station for days. That on a recent afternoon, there were more than 290 groups of 50 that before the numbers were restarted from zero at around 10 p.m. What else? The waiting was orderly, but the surge at each time a number came up. Some refugees pleaded to be let ahead. pointing to pregnant relatives or elderlies in wheelchairs, and there were a few scuffles as the hours progressed, but policemen calmly stuck to the program. Every 30 minutes a new group was lined up and seated to prepare for a crossing. As the sun dipped, authorities used flashlights to signal when a group could move forward to the barbed wire border. Where many of those waiting were children, they were sprawling on the ground asleep, sometimes whimpering when woke up. When their number came up, the refugees walked through, holding hands, pushing wheelchairs, and carrying sleeping infants. Entering Macedonia was a breeze. From the border, they walked 10 minutes to a newly set up camp. There was a train waiting at the camp's gate to take them through the country to the next border, Serbia. There too, it was calm. Humanitarian volunteers waited at the station as the refugees piled plea off hours later. Serbia, that way, they said, pointing. As dawn broke, the wave of refugees started moving towards the edge of the camp. Police ran to stop the crowd, but the sea of migrants surged and broke into a run. Policemen couldn't catch them. One raised his hand as if in surrender, letting them continue across the border. The spring mass soon settled into a steady stream, a calm once more as the journey continued. So, as this goes to show you, this migrant crisis is not far from over. And that, what else? In another news-related subject, this is an article titled "Security Forces Arrest ISIS Affiliate Palestinian Attempting to Enter Israel." Security forces announced on Sunday the arrest of a Gazian ISIS affiliate operative as he tried to pass into Israel via the land crossing. I'm not gonna really go into detail, but like I said, this really goes to show you that the problem of ISIS is like everywhere. Like this really goes to show you, and that anyways, and that what else? Other pretty much other than that, I'm just chilling at home today, working on my laptop, relaxing in the man cave, stuff like that. I'm going to be watching the Labor Day Classic later, having a good old bowl of turkey chili for supper, and it's going to be delicious. And oh, pardon me. Sorry for that belch, folks. I know that's really quite rude, isn't it? But anyways, sometimes when you got a burp, you got a burp, that feels much better, if I don't say so myself. What else am I gonna say? Other than that, I'm gonna be starting back to most of my sports soon. I start back to bowling next Saturday with my bowling team, the Uptown Rollers, and then I start back with my swimming team, the North End Seals, and then my curling team, Rock Solid. And that, usually at around this time of the year, like it's really busy for me. and that with sports and work, and I help out with the football team at my old high school. I also coach with the wrestling team at my old high school from November to March. So sometimes it's really busy at this time of the year for me, which is understandable, but well. Anywho, um, other than that, I've been having a good weekend. Than that, good long weekend. Just been relaxing at home, doing whatever. And I went to hang out with a good friend of mine, Jonathan Alexander Moline, or is me and most of my friends call him Big John, because like he's a big tall guy. But you know what? He's a good guy in that. What else? Other than that, that's pretty much what I've been doing. I've just been, chilling at home, this weekend. What was I gonna say? Oh, here's an interesting article. This is titled, ISIS are threatening to capture a vital highway in Syria, the loss of which could push millions of refugees out of government-held areas. ISIS, the Islamic State forces, known as ISIS, in Syria, are threatening to capture a crucial road, the loss of which could touch off a panic and the exodus of several million refugees from government areas, in addition to the 4 million who have already fled. ISIS fires have already advanced recently within 22 miles of the M5 highway, the only major route connecting the government-held territory in Damascus to the north and the west of the country. The beginning of the latest crisis of the government of President Bashar al-Assad came with the capture by ISIS on August 6th of the strategically placed largely Christian town of not even going to pronounce the name of it, northeast of Damascus. Since then, ISIS units have advanced further west, capturing 2 villages close to the M5. The Syrian army has so far retake. I can't pronounce the town correctly, but anyways, that's the fact of the matter. Where ISIS has demolished the Saint Ellen Monastery, part of which were 1,500 years old. 4 million Syrians who are already refugees, mostly came from the opposition or considered areas that have been systematically bombed by government aircraft and artillery, making it inhabitable. But the majority of the 17 million Syrians still in the country live in government-controlled areas now threatened by ISIS. These people are terrified that ISIS occupying their cities, towns, and villages because of their reputation of mass execution, ritual mutilation, rape against those who are not abstinent to the extreme variant of the Sunni Islam. So, like, the government forces are showing signs of being fought out after 4 years of war, and recently has suffered a series of defeats at the hands of ISIS, which captured Palermo in May in a coalition led by the Al Qaeda affiliate. So like, this really goes to show you that this this problem with ice is not going to go away on its own. And maybe some people think, maybe these airstrikes aren't doing, all that jack shit at all. But that's just my opinion, and I'm entitled to my opinion, and everybody else is entitled to their opinions. What else? Other than that, on the storm that wreaked havoc on Friday and rained out a concert that was supposed to happen at Assiniboine Park, Winnipeg recorded rain levels between 40 and 55 millimeters, mostly between 2 and 3 p.m., causing widespread flooding, and that all over the place. Like even like some of the underpasses that had to be closed due to flooding. And especially, there's this one bridge on, I believe it's in Ness Avenue, for you people that may not know, there's a bridge that goes over Sturgeon Creek, and that had to be closed, and that due to flooding, and like it was obviously frustrating for drivers and that, because they were just coming up Ness, and all of a sudden they're coming up to the bridge, going over Sturgeon Creek, and then probably thinking like, what the fuck? Why the hell's the bridge closed? And maybe it dawned on them, oh, maybe the bridge is closed due to flooding. And so, unfortunately, because of that closure, cars had to minorly detour around this side street that's just before where the bridge is closed on Ness Avenue, between my friend's house and Valley View Drive. And it just really goes to show you that Mother Nature can be really, really unpredictable, and Mother Nature can be such a biatch at times. But it's expected. What do you honestly expect? And that, other than that, I've just been chilling, and that, like I said, at home. It's a Labor Day long weekend. I got the day off tomorrow from my program that I belong to, Equal Opportunities West, and that, which will be good. But again, this is going to be a short week for me, and it's going to be a short week for all people that, for most people that are off, tomorrow on Labor Day Monday. What else? Really, other than that, we got our fair share of Mother Nature's crabbiness on Friday by the rain and the thunder and that. And the band Headley, like I said before, was supposed to have a concert at Assiniboine Park, which is literally about 5 minutes from my house. They unfortunately had to cancel the concert due to the weather, because the Assiniboine Park Conservatory issued an apology and saying they're sorry, they had to cancel the concert, blah 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 blah. They'll be issuing refunds earlier in this coming week and that. And I think that they were just thinking of the band and the crew and all those people and that. They had to cancel the. I understand they had to cancel the concert, because would you want those people sitting outside and that pissing down rain? Obviously not. And obviously with the equipment and that, it could be all of a sudden because of the rain, it could short circuit, and then all of a sudden you can hear and then and there could have been a potential explosion, because when water touches electrical wiring and that, it's not always a good thing. And that, what else? Like I said, like I said, like I said, a portion of like I said, a portion of Ness Avenue on Friday was closed, and that by the bridge, going over Sturgeon Creek due to the heavy rain in that, because the heavy rainstorm in that, because the sudden downpour causes a serious problem along Ness Avenue in that, and a large piece of the earth near Ness Avenue had washed away and the sidewalk had collapsed, and that, like I said, the stretch of Ness Avenue affected was over Sturgeon Creek between School Road and Valley View Drive. So good for the city of Winnipeg. They actually closed that stretch. Otherwise it could have been a lot worse. What if some drivers are unsuspecting drivers? All of a sudden what the possibility that could have happened. Their cars could just easily just crash potentially into Sturgeon Creek itself, or like it honestly could have been worse than that. What else? Other than that, this has been another edition of the Stuart Doll Show. For you young people, stay in school, stay out of trouble, and you will do fine. And Elvita saying peace and bye-bye. And for the Labor Day Classic, go Riders. And bye-bye for now.